As you know, unlike other awards ceremonies in our industry, we are determined to include winners' speeches as part of the celebrating of their achievements, but as we insisted from last year, we are going to try and keep it brief. Our aim, which I think Barry O'Farrell sympathised with, was to try and keep journalists to what they try to keep politicians to, which is the 6-second grab. It may be a little ambitious, but I'm sure you'll get the drift, and if you don't, can I introduce Todd to you, who stands over here with his... There we are. We don't have an orchestra, but we have Todd. He is our wind-up man, so let's not wind him up. So without further ado, please welcome the Deputy Premier of New South Wales, the Honourable Andrew Stoner, and Maria, Jamie and Nick Lockyer to present our first wonderful Spirax trophy tonight, the Paul Lockyer Award for Outstanding Regional Broadcast Journalism. Make them welcome.
It's great to join you for this year's the second annual Kennedy Awards, and terrific to see that this is an event that's not only growing in terms of size, but also prestige within your industry. As Nat's leader going on now for 11 years, I'm only too aware of the importance of regional media. Whether it's a farmer checking out the weather or the prices for commodities, cattle, etc., or, dare I say, communities like Coonabarabran who were trying to keep tabs on what was happening during that dreadful bushfire season earlier this year. We have an amazing pool of talent across regional New South Wales in the media. Many of those go on into the metropolitan media, but many stay, and I'm pleased to say so, in regional centres plying their trade and doing so very, very well. And it's fitting that the award for regional media is the Paul Lockyer Award, who I'm told was a top bloke. And I reckon anyone with the great love of country Australia and his craft would certainly fit that category as a top bloke. So, with those few words, was that a minute? About a minute, good. I'll announce the nominees, and they are Hugh Whitfield, 7 News; Catherine Clifford, ABC News. Catherine's put me through a few hoops over the years. And Julianne Horsman, Win News, Wagga. And the winner of the Paul Lockyer Award for Outstanding Regional Broadcast Reporting, Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
Hugh Whitfield's reports on the January bushfires over 11 days made compelling television and illustrated the statewide threat in a dramatic but accurate and compassionate manner.
The heat through here must have been so intense. It looks like a moonscape. Everything through here has been turned to ash.
In the true spirit of Paul Lockyer, the dangers and logistical challenges of reporting a fast-moving story from regional New South Wales were overcome to ensure a worsening crisis in the bush was broadcast into city living rooms.
Hi everyone, I've just been told about this wonderful award. As you can see, I'm on holidays in New York, a long way from Sydney and certainly the Warrumbungles as they continue to rebuild. I'm thrilled and very humbled to win this Paul Lockyer Award for regional reporting. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the night there, and I really wish that I was there tonight.
Well, this year the Kennedy Awards introduces the Chris Watson Award for Outstanding Regional Newspaper Reporting. Colleagues of the late Chris Watson, a stalwart of the Newcastle Herald, prepared this tribute.
Chris Watson was a journalist who worked in the Newcastle region for more than 40 years. Started at the Cessnock Eagle and came to the Newcastle Herald in 1971. He worked as a reporter, a sub-editor, moved into chief sub-editor. From there he promoted to deputy editor and served from 1996 to around 2000 as acting editor in numerous occasions. finally appointed full-time editor from 2002 to 2003.
He was a great friend and a consummate professional, and I'm sure if you asked anyone who worked with him, you'd probably get a pretty similar response. Watto had a great news sense. He knew his readership really well, and he could present stories in a way that struck a chord with local people. He was a top-notch newsman, but he also knew that newspapers had to entertain as well as inform, and he was never scared to have a little bit of fun with it all. So he would put together things like the Faces of the Aces, which were these life-size faces of footy stars that the newspaper would publish in the lead-up to big games. He was equally adept at dealing with the big stories and giving them the gravitas that they deserved. When the Twin Towers were hit, it was pretty late at night, close to deadline. They put that edition together in a couple of hours, got it printed and had it sitting on people's front lawns so that many of them got it before they were even aware that something big had happened overnight. What he really liked doing was being deputy editor, because when he was deputy editor he could forget about the meetings and the budgets and the PR and all the constraints of office and just get down to doing what he loved best, which was making newspapers. And he made a lot of editors look good in that capacity because he was really the ideas man behind the scene, the one coming up with the concepts and carrying them through.
Chris died shortly after he retired, which is in some ways fitting. He went out as a newspaper man, revered by all those who worked with him and remembered by so many people in the Hunter Valley for their connection with him. It's fantastic that this award tonight is going to his honour.
And to present the inaugural Chris Watson Award, please welcome his close friend and colleague, Mark Rothfield.
Good evening. As an old colleague and mate of Chris, I just thank everyone, the organisers in particular, for bestowing this honour upon him. He was a very humble man who preferred to let others take much of the credit while he had the ideas. He'd be bemused, I think, by the pomp and ceremony tonight for his own taste around the Hawaiian shirts and Jimmy Buffett tunes, but he did embody all that is good and noble about regional journalism. I'd like to acknowledge his daughter Naomi, who is here tonight, along with his close friends from the Newcastle Herald. The nominations for the Chris Watson Award for Outstanding Regional Newspaper Reporting are the Border Mail from Albury, the second nomination is Ashley Gleeson from the Daily Advertiser in Wagga, and finally Matthew Kelly from the Newcastle Herald. And the winner of the Chris Watson Award for Outstanding Regional Newspaper Reporting is the Border Mail team.
The judges praised Border Mail editor Diane Thomas for her leadership in a multimedia campaign to raise awareness of depression and suicide. The tenacious and compassionate reporting of a once unspoken issue means a new Headspace Centre for Albury-Wodonga will open next year. Journalism enhancing and saving lives.
Into my eyes, like open doors, leading you down into my core, where I've become so numb.
Ladies and gentlemen, I feel incredibly honoured here tonight. The first thing I want to do is pay tribute to the other finalists, Matthew Kelly and Ashley Gleeson, two very fine young journalists who worked for the Fairfax Regional Media Group. Please, a round of applause for both of them. Last week was 12 months since we launched our Ending the Suicide Silence campaign, a campaign that was launched by my predecessor, Heath Harrison, who's now the deputy editor of the Newcastle Herald. And in tribute to Chris Watson, I can't think of any finer reward that he should be getting for this campaign. I thank him very much, and I thank my incredible team, and I thank the community of Albury-Wodonga for supporting this campaign. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, to present the Kennedy Award for Outstanding Crime Reporting, please welcome New South Wales Police Commissioner Andrew Scipione.
Well, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long day. What a pleasure it is to be here yet again for the second awards. And again, it's fantastic to see Merle here with us front and centre. It's a real privilege to have you here tonight, Merle. Now, I'm going to do something that's very dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. You saw the video. You saw how we had a failure only because of his boisterous nature and his attentiveness to duty. Police dog Les has now gone out, as we already said, into civilian life. We replace police dog Les with police dog Kennedy, and he's here tonight. Now, he's a little excited. Police dog Kennedy's here with his handler, Senior Constable Andrew Moan. It's fantastic. Believe it or not, he's still part of the puppy program. Now, imagine when he's full size and you have to have some interaction with police dog Kennedy. I'd rather it be somebody else. Look, I've got a report, and you would expect this from me. I said I want a risk assessment. I'm told he's a bit of a handful. They've also given me a risk assessment with regards to his future. I'm told he's very bright. He's certainly got a long future with us. I'm reliably informed that his only risk is that he's boisterous and he's very playful, which is very different from police dog Les. Does that remind you of someone? Boisterous and playful? Well, it's great that he could actually be here with us tonight. Merle, I think you're over there somewhere. Hand up in the air. Can we send Kennedy down towards you so you can say hello to him? Maybe pat him on the way out. I'm told you're safe at this stage, but we'd love to do that. So if we can do that, I might get Andrew to start making his way down there now. Please give him a round of applause. Fantastic. Now, I'm mindful of the time and I'm sure that I'm getting the wind up, so I'll keep going. Ladies and gentlemen, our partnership with news media continues to deliver mutual benefits, and that really means that there is a benefit to the community of New South Wales. There's the occasional rough and tumble, as you would expect, but by and large I reckon we all get on pretty well. Whether it's abducted child alerts, missing persons week in, week out, media assists us in our appeals to help solving crime. And of course, we can and we do celebrate successes together. You know, for instance, when we actually catch criminals and we bring them to justice, which brings us to the nominations for this year's Kennedy Awards for Outstanding Crime Reporting. The nominees are Kate McClymont from the Sydney Morning Herald, Tim Noonan, Sunday night, Channel 7. Tim Elliott, Sydney Morning Herald. And I've got to make sure I've got this right, and the winner is Kate McClymont, Sydney Morning Herald.
Kate McClymont's tale of how a three-letter mistake brought undone a $150 million bank sting was riveting. She managed to persuade the Australian Federal Police to agree to extensive interviews about the case. The end result, a rollicking good read with the plot and cast worthy of a Hollywood script.
Is there life on Mars?
I was just saying to Andrew Scipione tonight, I said, you know, one thing I would really like to have done in my life was to have been a detective. And he said, Kate, I've got an application out in the boot. So thank you to all my Fairfax colleagues, and thank you very much, Andrew, and all the wonderful Kennedy Award organisers. Thank you. Well done.